Anderson to the stage, joining us all the way from New Zealand. So thank you, Sally, for jumping in.
Absolute privilege to be here today.
Yeah, so we're going to be going over. I mean, in terms of actually, I should have probably clarified this. Did you want to give a quick little presentation, or are we just going to have a quick chat? Or
If you want to bring you back on screen, mate, I'll give you the lowdown.
sure, okay. All right. Just before we get that, I just wanted to quickly go back and start the session up properly. So today we have the grand opening of strategystorming.co, and our first guest in this hour, this segment, is Sally Anderson, leadership coach to the influencers as well. And ultimately, what we want to do is create this change and understand how we can rethink and reinvent and reimagine how to do better business as well. So we want to be able to put these pieces in place for our business, and that's the purpose of strategy storming, is giving you the tools, the strategies, the thinking, the capabilities, adding to your reinvention toolkit as well. And then after Sally, we have Alex coming up, who's the CEO of Bravestorming, and we've got some really cool brainstorming, bravestorming, and strategy storming all together. The perfect trifecta, I think that would be excellent. So let's get back here, stop the share. And if you are watching on live, please feel free to leave your comments. I can't watch them directly, but I go in every now and then and check them. So if you have a question or comment, please add them to the comments, and then we'll get them to Sally if she needs to answer them as well. So welcome, Sally.
Thanks for having me. So, given the time of year and given your approach, I kind of thought a really good topic, or two topics really, from a strategic standpoint. From November to February, in my opinion, a lot of solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, organizations have a really hard time within the sales arena. And it frustrates the hell out of me because this is one of the most exciting times of the year to close sales. The biggest deficit in most organizations and in most private practices is the ability to master the art of closing. So I have a 16 guaranteed process. I'm going to share 4 of those today, of the 16, of how to master the art of closing, because that to me is key to, especially for high ticket items. So I'm wanting to dance in that conversation. And I'm also wanting to talk about KPI empowered cultures versus KPI disempowered cultures, and the strategies in and around, why do we tolerate, given that the bottom line seems to be the all important word, and sales has a direct link to the bottom line, and yet we tolerate disempowered KPI cultures. It's just ludicrous. So that's where I want to dance today, there, my friend, because I'm really wanting to provide value to your audience, specifically at this time of year, to get bloody excited about the sort of business that they can close versus kind of like clock out and then kind of like re-engage in the new year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're missing a huge opportunity as well. So yeah, no, that, and I apologize. I've got a lot of different topics in my head, but yeah, you did say that. So thank you for going down that path as well. Just maybe tell us a little bit about yourself too, Sally.
Sure. So I'm based in Aotearoa, New Zealand, one of the most beautiful countries in the world, a bit biased. Although I'm based here, I operate 100% internationally, primarily in the United States. So I'm the sort of coach people come to when they've tried everything else. They've done the landmarks, the avatars, the Anthony Robbins. They've done the leadership retreats. They've done the masterminds. They've done the online courses. They've read the books, the CDs, the courses. And for whatever reason, they haven't achieved the level of transformation that they've wanted, nor do they know how to sustain it. So my point of difference from the sea of coaches that are in the marketplace, there is no other coach on the planet bar myself who focuses on the sustainability element of personal and or professional transformation. If you're going to invest money into change, let's make sure it's sustainable. And there's a lot of people that we know who are highly, highly trained, but what's the point of having the knowledge if you don't apply it? So I've cracked the code on how to sustain change, both at an individual level and at an organizational level. So I coach at a very high level. I coach high-end CEOs, fish tanks from the head down. Given the advent of COVID, a lot of leaders are used to being in control. They have difficulty navigating uncertainty. We will not be returning to the traditional model of leadership. There is a need to elevate the consciousness of those who lead. So the education curriculum that I've developed is called co-creative leadership or equanimous leadership. So I'm passionate about dealing with high-level leaders and evolving their consciousness. Albert Einstein said, we cannot, basically solve the new world problems from the same thinking. So there is a need to elevate leadership. Politicians, stop bagging the opposition. Can you actually teach us on your policies, and can we have some succession planning so we've actually got some viable candidates to vote for? I have a passion for the military. I have a non-drug related solution to solve the dynamic around PTSD. I don't believe in any acronym-oriented diagnoses that endorses drug usage. I coach celebrities. I want them to take responsibility for, instead of going in and out of rehab, can you actually take responsibility for actually investing back into some of the planetary issues that we have? And also millionaires and billionaires. They're as dissatisfied as people who don't have what they have, and they also need to have a conscience on where their money is attributed. So yeah, I love coaching people who are highly trained, but they feel as though there's something missing with reference to achieving the level of trajectory that they want and knowing how to sustain it.
It's a fascinating person that you work with too. Like it's so specific, and I don't think I've ever seen that granularity before. So I'm really excited about how we can then apply what you know, because you have such an immense level of experience as well. So yeah, thank you for joining us, Sally.
Cool. So you want to get straight into it?
Yeah, let's dig in.
Alrighty. So I've had the privilege of coaching sales teams all around the world, from multi-level marketing teams to franchise companies to licensee companies to as a performance coach. And I really do feel for organizations and individuals within their own practice when they've expended so much time on the networking, so much time on the ability to enroll, but when it comes to the close, it just seems to be in deficit. So I created my own formula, as I said before, 16 guaranteed elements to master the art of closing, not just be good at it, but friggin' will master it. And I'm interested in imparting those skills with reference to high ticket items, so that we actually are honored for the work that we do. So the 4 that I'm going to share today, a lot of the work that I do is pretty unorthodox, but it gets results. So the first one is people, when they come to the close, usually are so appropriate. So I'll ask a salesperson, so when you're sitting in front of somebody and you know that what they're relaying to you is absolute bullshit, do you actually say that to the person? Do you reflect that back to them? And they go, oh, God, no, if I say that, I'm going to lose the sale. I'm going, here's the deal. You can get away with anything so long as you frame it up front. And so tip number 1, strategy number 1, learn how to become, and when I say being so appropriate, I'm not talking about being rude or inappropriate. I'm talking about standing for the client to actually see the bullshit that they're selling out to. So I'm a very strong facilitator. I get away with calling it as I see it. I'm interested beyond my own confrontation to serve the client or serve the prospect who's in front of me. So if I smell it, I'll call it. So that's strategy number 1. When you want to back out, go in. That is the gold. Number 2, press the bruise. We all trained in sales to identify what the challenges are, what the pain points are. But the point of doing that in the first part of your enrollment process is when you get to the close, and they're trying to back out of the arrangement or the opportunity, you have the opportunity to press the bruise. So what you're telling me is that you're more interested in being a saboteur. You're more interested in being a hypocrite with reference to what it is that you're doing than actually honoring what it is that you're standing for. In phase 1 of my enrollment process, you have to understand what they want, and you also have to understand what their challenges are, such that when you're in the close, you can use that. Because I'm only interested in one thing in the close. I'm interested, are you committed? It's a yes-no facilitation. So I'm going to talk about objections in a minute, but when you get to the close, I divert the prospect away from the usual standard bullshit that we do, and I have one conversation. So the type of clients that are attracted to me and or can handle the program that I implement, they've got to be committed. So all I want to hear is whether you're committed or not. If they can't say yes to that problem, it's pointless having the conversation, which segues nicely into falling in love with objections. So when somebody is in front of me, well before they try and table the objections, the conversation that I have with them goes somewhere along the lines of this. Say the guy's called John. I'll say, look, John, I know that you're not wanting to insult my intelligence, and I surely don't want to insult your intelligence, but usually at this juncture, what people do is they raise these things called objections. I need to talk to my wife or my husband. I need to talk to my accountant. I don't have the money. I don't have the energy. I don't have the time. There'll be some form of excuse used. So, John, I want to elevate the conversation And that's when I segue into the conversation around being committed or not. I want to hear whether you're committed or not. Oh, well, I need to talk to, I've got no qualms you talking to your accountant or your partner, all the rest of it. But first and foremost, I need to know whether you're committed. Pushing them away with reference to positioning your program at the caliber that you know is prominent for what it is that you're selling, especially at the rate that you charge, you need to position it because you just don't take everybody. The number one, it's often in sales meetings, I ask people, what's the number one reason why people can't close? And I've never had one person being able to answer that question. In my world, the number one reason why you don't close who's in front of you is that you shouldn't be in front of the person who's in front of you. Yeah. From a client selection standpoint, people spend a shitload of time, networking and enrollment and taking all these calls and then having all these 20,000 cups of coffee, right? And then actually trying to sell their products or their wares, but they haven't really honed in on the client selection. Like nobody gets in front of me unless A, I endorse it, or B, that there's somebody that I'm interested in talking to. 20,000 people contact you on social media, really wanting to meet you. I go, are you interested in leadership coaching? And they go, oh, I just want to meet you. I'm saying, sorry, I don't have availability. Unless there's got to be fair and equal exchange. I don't have time to have 20,000 cups of coffee in the business, because I know that if you meet me, you're going to walk away with value, but is that going to be fair and equal exchange the other way around? And so I'm very, very strict around that. So emotional connection, the power of storytelling, which obviously is very key within strategy. In my enrollment process, the ability to get that emotional connection. In phase one, where you identify, what it is that they want and you identify what their pain points are, you do not go into phase two, where you share who you are, you match what they've shared with you so that they feel as though you understand, their shoes. You need to have that intuitive emotional connection that you've got them. Otherwise, you need to stay in phase one, flesh it out more, understand the landscape of who you're dealing with before you go into phase two. Phase two, you need to, again, get that second emotional connection standpoint. Usually, I will match what I've heard. So if they share a financial disaster, I'll share a financial disaster. I don't do looking good coaching. If they share something within the storytelling of where they're at, I'll share the same sort of matching story. I won't deviate anywhere else. I'm trying to match where they're at. Then phase three, from the objection standpoint, I segue completely out and just have the conversation around, are you committed? And that is a very strong facilitation. I call them on their bullshit, 110%, such that they have the breakthrough with what it is that they're dealing with. And obviously you need to be a strong facilitator to be able to achieve that. And then be as strong as you are in the close as you are in every other phase. So the 4 of the 16 odd, which we don't have time to go over today, are emotional connection and storytelling are key to being able to close at the end. If you're not getting those intuitive messages along the way, then you shouldn't be surprised as to why the person can't close. Number 2, stop being so appropriate. Lean in. When you want to back out, lean in. That's where the gold is. Press the bruise. Use it in the close because if somebody says, all the pain points, and then they say they don't want to sign, and you actually genuinely feel as though you can assist the person, then it's your responsibility, I believe, to get that person present to what it is that they're tolerating. Often I facilitate live coaching sessions, and the theme usually is, what would your life look like if you didn't tolerate anything that wasn't working? What would your life look like if you didn't tolerate not meeting your KPIs on a weekly, monthly, or annual basis? Because people tolerate a lot personally, and people tolerate a lot in business. And last but not least, stop having inane conversations around objections, segue completely away from that, elevate the conversation, and get them really present to whether they're committed or not. Because if they're not committed, it's not going to work. How's that sound?
Yeah, no, that's amazing. So you can in your sales process, I've got a lot to learn here. You could really kind of flub it up by not actually having or not seeing those objections, or just kind of talking about them. Is that kind of what you're saying?
When you get to this phase, you've done what they want, what their pain points are. That's got to happen in phase 1, and you stay understanding the landscape of who you're dealing with before you go into phase 2. Phase 2, you share, you match what you've heard, and in that phase, you can also share. In your case, you'd be sharing your process, what it is, not your programs or selling or anything like that, but just to give them a taste. It's the art of seduction in that phase, because if you give away the kitchen sink, they don't need to buy anything from it. Then when you usually after that, people are expecting to have the inane conversation around objections, right? oh, I need to talk to whoever, or I don't know whether I can afford it, or I don't know whether I have the time, or it's just inane. I'm not interested in having that level of conversation. So I tell them that in every single conversation. So I want to elevate the conversation because there's a court called want and a court called committed. Most people are trying to get the results from the court called committed from the court called want. If you think of a tennis court analogy,
Yeah.
so I want to change. I want to be able to have my business be successful. I want to. Yeah, I get you want it, but you got to be committed to it. For you to be committed to it, you need to die to that identity that tolerates the bullshit that you tolerate. See, when you get committed to something, you got to reinvent. You got to die to this default level of identity, which is what I specialize in, to be able to sustain change. So moment by moment by moment, you're either in your power or you're in your default. We have a tendency of oscillating between the two states. Most education curriculums teach you how to master your default, navigate the default, manage around the default. In my education, I teach you how to die to your default such that the new default is your empowered state, and then you're able to experience equanimity, the ability to be the observer of what is, not how it could have been, should have been, wanted it to be. And you're able to sustain being in your power all the time. I train people to be a 10 every day. So if you're hanging out at a 2 state or a 5 state, we're all resonance, energy, vibration. I want to get people in the zone. I want to get them into alignment. wanting to get them in the slipstream. I want to get them in the vortex. You can't have that happen if you piss assing around anything less than a 10. So I do people's heads in because I'm a 10 all the time, because I know that I'll be responsible. How many books do we need to read that say, be careful what you think, your thoughts create your reality? Well, they do. And so you got to monitor every single thought you have on every single moment of the day, because if it is not forwarding the game, the key mantra that I live by is what you're thinking forwarding the game. If it's not, don't think it. Is what you're doing forwarding the game. If it's not, don't do it. Is what I'm saying forwarding the game. If it's not, don't say it. And who I'm being on a day-to-day basis, is that forwarding the game? If it's not, don't be that. Right? That's training yourself at a high degree of integrity. You don't have time to piss ass around in the default. Yeah?
Yeah. No, Sally, have you written a book? Speaking of book writing, it's like I could read one of my books. Just a sec. I want to grab it. As things go clump in the background and fall off my bookshelf, I wanted to actually have all my favorite books. Can you write something like a Robert Greene book where you have like your daily laws of power? Because everything you said, it's like I'm just my mind's blowing, because every single sentence there's like such an immense value in there. How do we capture that lightning in a bottle, Sally? I'm serious. Like,
So I'm in the process of rebranding, relaunching in February of next year.
yeah.
And part of that is my first book was Freefall, Living Life Beyond the Edge, which is the personal development book. I'm up-leveling that book and rebranding. My second book is called The Co-Creative Age, The Next Evolutionary Phase in Leadership, because who you are in your human form is limited. Who you are in your co-creative form is limitless. So I train leaders on how to tap into their co-creative ability. I gave up being a human being a long time ago, all too bloody hard there. And I wasn't palatable 20 years ago when I was banging the tambourine on co-creative leadership, used to being a black witch and God knows what. Whereas now it's far more palatable because uncertainty is my domain. We were born fearless, we were born connected, we were born intuitive, and then we forgot. I basically bring people back to that innate state, to reclaim, who they were before they shut down, So the third book I'm in the process of writing is called Tabula Rasa. Tabula Rasa is when you are stripped of everything and you're brought back to a blank canvas, and the byline is finding equanimity. We at the moment globally are experiencing a lot of grief, people's loss of future dreams, loss of loved ones, loss of revenue, loss of businesses, loss of just loss. But nobody talks about the empowered aspect of grief versus a disempowered aspect of grief. So I feel as though there's some part that I need to play with reference to bringing more education to the planet at that leadership level about understanding. I believe equanimity goes beyond self-actualization in Maslow's theory. But in answer to your question, I'm a prolific writer of articles on LinkedIn. If people wanting to, I write about evolving leadership consciousness and mindset mastery every week. So if people want to go and check me out on LinkedIn, feel free to do so.
Yeah, please do. Yeah. No, absolutely. Everything you write, like, it's just amazing, inspiring, and you put so much thought to it, and it's so powerful too. And I noticed your equanimity sign in the back. That's pretty cool. So that's what the next book is about.
Yeah.
When do you expect
Um,
to have that out?
Probably about August of next year, if not before.
Okay.
So the branding and the website and repositioning is all taking precedent. And excited about one of my biggest passion areas is the mental health aspect at the most senior level. We have a bit of an issue just dealing with mental health in the employee level. It's more of a compliance issue. But
Mm.
when you think about senior leaders, it's that we have superhuman expectations of these leaders, and especially now more than ever, there's a huge stigmatization that who do they talk to? Being a leadership coach to the influencers, being a confidential, advisor, they need a safe space. They need a neutral territory where it's non-judgmental, where it's private and confidential. Nobody needs to know that they're being coached. I gave up years ago needing to have profile. I prefer working in behind the scenes of leaders who are making a significant difference on the planet. So I am passionate about bringing awareness to the support that is required at the most senior level of leadership. And they're running our economies, they're running our countries, they're running our economy. It's kind of like they need the support, and it's not there to the degree that it needs to be.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's fascinating. One of the earlier speakers, Andrew Griffiths, just before you was talking about those exact two things, the mental health, that we're really overly stressed, and as well that certainty versus uncertainty, that balance that we're always trying to manage as well. I've actually just I know you might have, well, actually you have seen the model before, and actually when you mentioned Maslow's model of needs, I've actually reimagined that, and I just wanted to quickly show you this, because maybe it's something, maybe we could do another conversation down the road as well. But I took Maslow's hierarchy of needs and his foundations and actually reimagined it into this
Great.
this pyramid, the tetrahedron. I'm just going to put it to the spotlight so we can see. But we take all these different categories: body, mind, and health, personal growth, and love. And if we're able to then recombine that and sort of rethink this, what we're able to actually master, and look, it's just a fun little model, but what we're
Fabulous.
able to actually look for is this certainty, right? We're able to define that based on our personal growth.
Yep.
We're able to look at clarity based on body, mind, and health. And there's obviously other parameters here: shelter, security, food, and
Yep.
water rather. And then the final one is competency as well, based on love, embracing love, friendship, and connections as well. So we can kind of
Fantastic.
use this model to be able to say, hey, how do we actually meet better world needs, meet our safety needs, and beat our usefulness needs as well?
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
so anyway, just one of the fun things that I like to play with. And that's what I want to bring to strategy storming too, is how can we actually use these tools for creativity as well, for divergent thinking, but also for convergent. It's like at the end of the day, we have to solve problems. We have to deliver value, right? We have to converge all of these great ideas into something useful and tangible. And that's what I wanted to create with strategy storming, is giving us the tools to be able to do this, to rethink, to reimagine how things we can put in place.
Mm.
Yeah,
I'm
go
not too
ahead.
sure how much time we've got
Yeah,
left there,
yeah.
my friend.
No,
How
no,
we
no.
how we're
We're
looking?
pretty much wrapped up. So yeah, if you
Okay.
wanted to add anything else, I really want to thank you for jumping in. Do you need to take off or
No, no,
stick around, or no?
no. I just
Okay.
like to close with just on
Yeah.
this KPI empowered culture thing. Um, Businesses tolerate a lot with reference to specifically KPIs. What would your business look like if you didn't tolerate your people not meeting KPIs? That's a whole probably podcast again. I wouldn't mind doing that with you at some point there, my friend. But just to reiterate, this November to February period is the most exciting time for sales. If there's any issues with reference to any deflation or buying into any beliefs that people clock out at this time of year and you can't generate the type of business that you want, it's a fallacy. So my suggestion is get bloody excited, because it's probably the best Christmas present. And your most high ticket items can be sold at this time of year. It would be what I'd leave you with.
Fantastic. All right. So we need to go to Sally Anderson to tell us how to do that. Stay tuned for learning more. No, fantastic. Thank you so much, Sally. I really appreciate you taking the time on your busy schedule to
Not a
join
problem.
us. It's always a pleasure talking. I love talking deep thoughts with you as well. Not just that sort of fluffy stuff that we often see. But thank you so much for taking us
Excellent.
in that
Thanks,
direction.
mate. All good.
Cool. So if you're welcome to stay on for the next session or drop out whenever you need to. We are live
Sweet.
as well. So
Good.
if you want to join me on LinkedIn as well, just through my profile, I'll be there as well. So thanks, Sally. Excellent. So now we have Alex Sum coming up. Alex, are you there? Do you feel like joining in? There we
Hi.
are.
Hi,
Hey, Alex.
everyone.
How are you? Good to see you.
Nice.
Can you hear me
How are you
okay?
doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. No, I'm doing well. I've been waiting for this one. I've been waiting for you. We've started like 4 hours ago and I've got like 8 hours to go, I think.
Yeah.
So really excited that you can kind of come and talk to us as well. I have a lot of your products here that we're going to be going through, I hope, or at least explaining the business side of it as well. And then we'll talk about, yeah, how we've created templates with strategystorming.co. We created some templates for some of your tools as well, and really super excited for launching those.
Yeah, I'm so excited and I'm so happy to see how you create a template or some system just fit to your audience or fits your student or something like that. I'm so excited to see some leadership program or some related things that can our products can help or assist to how we visualize the big picture as well, and then we can how we can focus just one thing. I think we both need to focus on something that we really concern. Yeah. So I'm just curious, how do you back our product in Kickstarter and see, oh, this product can be a good thing to create some template for other people?
Yeah.
I'm so interested to know that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, I actually Kickstart was the first Kickstarter that you did was these
Yeah,
larger move erasers. That's what you call them, right? Just so I got the name right.
when
The
you
Meg
raise.
movie race.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So these were really, really powerful. I thought this was like, to me, this was like revolutionary. Actually, I'll put them on the screen, the down screen, so we can see those a little bit better. Can you see that the down screen, the magic
yeah,
cam? I'll just put
yeah.
that on add spotlight. And I'll actually put mine on spotlight as well. Add spotlight. There we go. Yeah. So these were the not magic erase, the mover erase or move erase. Sorry, I still have the name
Moving.
wrong. Move erase.
Yeah,
Yeah.
moving.
So that's where I found these quite useful, because for those who don't know, it's actually magnetic. And the way you can position them is being able to just flip them up on the edge. I don't have the steel. Actually, I'll have to move things around here a bit in a second, but yeah, so that's where I got started, was with the Kickstarter campaign with that. And then you had the Thinker board. I think it was like about a year and a half ago, the Thinker board and the smaller ones as well, that you can place on your little planners. I don't have a planner, but you said actually, yeah, I should mention that you're giving away a couple of these amazing prizes as well, for participants in the launch day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what we have. So there's that one. And that was your recent Kickstarter. So how many have you had? One, two, or at least two? I've been involved in two.
We have three
Oh,
Kickstarter.
three.
We have Kickstarter, yeah, yeah, and
Oh,
there
okay.
there will be coming in fourth, yeah, and the other product as well. Yeah, we
Oh,
are
okay.
creating something that fit to some leadership program or some office people that can bring in the office. Even the children, our kids should use something like this to visualize our plan and how have a fun way uh, to plan ourselves to get a better person. This is what our aim, because I think our brand called brainstorming is like your strategy storming is like the brand name is like a bit similar. The
Mm,
strategy we call brave, because I think courage is very important to do everything in our life, right? So I think our brand why we call brainstorming is like a power by action. Even this is like we think action is always the most important things. Even we have some just start something that we have passionate and how we can find our passion because we have some system and template. Just like if you can see, this is the mover book. This is how I use
There you go.
to
Yeah.
how I list out something. Maybe some people just like just do it as a to-do list or a schedule book. And this one, we have some column. This is a weekly schedule, and this one is called mover. This is called mover pad. This can be slapped on the monitor side. Okay, this is also a magnetic. Can slap it on the whiteboard as well.
Yeah, that's so cool.
We can very easy to visualize, but we are so excited to find some influencer to see. Oh, we can use different templates to fit our mover. How we can schedule, just like this one is my personal schedule weekly, and this can be used every day, and just one this, and here this is the column of purpose column, or we set some goal, this column, and this is that column is called buffer, or called waiting for some task. Putting here, the step is like we think about the purpose first, and then we list out and prioritize very tactile things to how we writing something, like our goal put in here, and then we need to have create some step and task for our goal. Just like, for example, I want to have a new job as well, something like that. Put it here, and then I can always like a vision board. We can see this, and then we create some task, and then put it here first. This is a waiting for column, and then we can every week, when the week start or the day start, we can actually use our hand to put our task on the schedule. Yeah. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then how we can visualize, and then we can see some color coding. This is how we invent this product. We think maybe some digital things is good, but to me, this is I think the digital device is good for in the planning. It's good for storage. It's like we have so many ideas to put on, and then we need to store our idea, but most of them just put in the Google Calendar or Google Keep. We just put it on there, and then they never happen. This is the point.
We lose them. Yeah, no, exactly. We have these great
ideas,
and
because we have too many ideas, but we just want to have one to start first and put it on hand. And this is the tactile things, and we can put it here. And I think this is a process to learn how we choose the things. We have some color coding. To me, red color. To me, I
love the
define red color is like the email calling, and the green color we define to be a meeting, like a Zoom meeting, and blue color is like our thinking. Every thinking, we put it on blue color, and yellow. Nice. Yellow will be something like some work and tasks I need to sit down to work by myself, and the gray color is like something related to money. Okay, so just how you define is just for you. So very easy to see. Just like, oh, this week I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 meetings. So I always review myself to this product is mainly inspired by many books, like the Amazon's bestseller book, especially a book called The One Thing. They need to focus on one thing first, and then one by one, and then no multitasking. This is what I believe, and we want to share this products, and It is the mindset, right? This is how we work to share with people. Yeah. So I'm so curious, and I'm so much interest to see how you can share your template and how you can put your wise to share with our backer and community.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I've really enjoyed it. And that's what kind of attracted me to me in the first place, was just kind of seeing how tactile it could be. Because yeah, sometimes you just lose your thoughts and lose your ideas. And if there was a way to capture them and save them, like I've got stacks of them over here. I do erase them, but it takes me a long time to erase them because I just want to keep those ideas there, and then I can reorganize them in a few, weeks or months later. I'll reorganize them again to check that I'm kind of on track as well. And so it came to me in just kind of putting these pieces together, like we're developing this whiteboard, this strategy whiteboard, the blue sky strategy whiteboard, which we actually convert into what I call a tetrahedron, but we can actually write on it. So this is step 1, for example, and we've got 4 different steps, and there's different models that we go through depending on what you want to do. And the concept is actually to create this into this 3D strategy board that we're able to then hold up, and we can look at it, we can touch it, we can feel it. So your strategy really is no longer just something that you write on a paper and put on a book or whatever, put on a shelf and it disappears. Guess what? With the model, the whiteboard, you can actually see it and you can touch it. And I can pass this, to you if you were here. We actually have developed an app as well that allows you to create them online with the app, and then you basically fold them up into the shape that you want based on those ideas of your business. What is your business about? And that's kind of the exercises that we go through, and we can display it in several different types. But one of the going back to the divergent thinking side of it is the creative side. And I think that's what's missing in developing strategy and developing business, is that we're kind of still in sort of that accounting, the numbers side, and we kind of have to expand our creativity side of it as well. And that's what I started with strategy storming, is how can we bring together tools and capabilities and learning and understanding that gives us the capability to rethink and reimagine how we do business. And so what I came up with was based on, these models here, and then based on your product. I'm just going to grab them here. Like I have the thinker board, because I thought that was absolutely revolutionary, quite honestly, when I saw it. It's a metal board, well, as you know, but for the audience, it's a metal board that's in a grid. Sorry, I just want to try to pull it out. There we go. So it's a steel board, and it has it's a backing. It's a grid background, right? And so what we do is, I'm not sure I can fit everything in here. What we've done is actually create 2 templates. So initially, and I should have put this in order, but I don't have it in order, but using everything and putting together a template that you can actually then create this. So part of what I do is I provide these structures, these models, to be able to say, okay, well, what's really important in your business, and how do we actually assess these? Actually, I think I will put these pieces here just so that it makes a bit more sense.
And how do you make some brainstorming section before using this?
Yeah, well, there's that. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a great question. There's actually a whole workbook that we go through. So we'll actually be able to create one of these. And actually, this is one of the gifts at the end of our little talk. I'll show everybody how they can actually go and get this for free on the Strategy Storming site, to get the free digital download. But it walks you through these steps of your building your strategies. So in this case, it's this triangle model that I use. I call it the AMPS model, based on audience, method, process, and story. And that gives you that foundation that you need for business to be able to kind of put things together, craft your winning strategy, create the profitable company, and that sort of thing. So it really kind of helps frame things so that you can, it's also called like a strategic architecture. So we can actually build it as our strategy foundation. And then we go through a whole exercise of this. So your thinker board comes after this, which fits, like, it's just so nice. It fits together. So we go through each of these steps. We look at each of these specific triangles. These are actually fulcrums, and we can talk for hours on this, but each of these, we have to identify all these different sections. And what that does is that becomes our overall model. So we do that 4 times. We create our model. And in the case of the workbook, you can actually go through and write them out, which is one way of doing it. And then you basically would cut this out, tear the sheet out, and then cut it out into the shape, right? And then you're able to fold it into the final shape as well, which is that. Right. So you're able to do that quite easily with this workbook. So where I saw kind of how these products fit together was, well, why don't we do that with the movie racers, right? Why don't we do that with these different pieces, with the different templates, so we can use the thinker board? And sorry, I should have had this ready. I've been just playing with it and I can't stop playing with it. But I'll put those to the sides and I'll have to start from scratch so that we can see how it actually works together. All right, so there's the thinker board, right? It's the steel grid. What we would do next is we would go through, we'd put this template together, and this is an A3 size sheet. You can actually download these now on the strategystorming.co site. So you can get these templates now. And then you just cut off the edge of an A3 sheet, and it fits very, very nicely. So what we do then is take the model that we've talked about here, right? The AMPS model, and actually put these into place. So this is the AMPS model, right? What do we talk about? Our audience. Sorry, I'll put these in order. Our audience is our first element that we talk about for our business. Our method is our second element that we talk about. Our third element is our process. And then the fourth element is our story. So we have each of these little pieces. And then if you noticed, one of the things that we want to be able to build later is these sub elements, these little pieces on the side right here. And so we have a place for them on the mover, the thinker board rather. So what's important? Be seen, be heard, and be understood. Okay, and then this is the brainstorming process. If we don't like them, we'll change them and we'll adapt them. And that's the uniqueness of this model, is we can then see this and how does it actually play together. So then we go on to the next one. I'm just trying to make sure I've got these all in place. I don't think I filled them all in, but I'll just go with what I can here. Ecosystem, assets, there we go. Assets, ecosystem, and foundation. There we go. I knew I had them there. All right. And then for the process, the third item there, we look at digital delivery, we look at value creation, and we look at digital experience as well. And then I don't actually have those filled out for the final story element as well. So the unique thing here is that we can test these out. If we don't like them, right, what do? We change them. So we change them, we erase them, and away we go. So we'll move that around. I don't want to, it doesn't make sense. I don't want to fit it there. So I'll put it here in that instead. Right. So we have our main AMPS model built now. So again, a lot of times what we're confronted with a strategy is we're not really sure what to do next. And this is how we can actually take it to that next level, literally and figuratively. So I'll just quickly go this. And then there's a second template that we put on top of this, or exchange them rather, that kind of puts the icing on the cake, as they say, because this is it's a good shape. It's a great little visual model. And as you know, like, we're more keen to being able to understand visual models than just sort of a piece of paper or written language or that sort of thing. So we're able to then change this to the next step, which is your flight plan template. So this actually then puts it in perspective of, okay, what do we need to do next? How do we actually take what we created here and how do we put it in place? Well, we do that with our AMPS model again, and we do that with let's go with it. I'll just keep them in order so it makes more sense. So first priority of the business is work on our audience. Okay. So what do we want to work on there? We want to work on be seen, be understood, and be aware, I think is what I had there as well. And I've changed these just for now kind of thing. So that's the first step. So every step we can build this towards our flight plan. The next one is our method. So, okay, that's our priority number 2. What do we want to work on next is our ecosystem. Then let's move on to our assets, and then let's move on to our foundation. Excellent. We're making progress. We know where we are. Let's find out where we need to go next. Well, then we need to look at our process. So what's important with our process, making sure we have a digital experience, making sure we're able to deliver exclusively, and making sure that we have and understand and convey our value. And then the last step in this model is using a story, right? So I don't have them filled out, but there's 3 elements of our story that we use here. Being able to be connected, be adaptable, and be resourceful as well. So we can work on these specific elements in a consecutive manner. So we've taken our fuzzy ideas, we've isolated them, and we've said, okay, this is what's important. Now let's go to the next level and let's actually put it into a roadmap or a radar or a flight plan kind of thing as well. And to me, that's where the power of this is, because this actually, it props up as well. I was trying to take the back piece off, but you can see, and that's what was to me so unique with the design, is being able to sit it up on your desk, in your workroom, in your classroom, and then kind of talk about it. So that's my story.
Yeah, your flight plan is so cool, so cool. And how we can visualize our plan, and then we can have some little to-do list for each part, like for what you understand, what you visualize, what you plan, and then you can list out some tasks to actually do it. I think this is the best part, and I think there are some if we can, because of so many backer asking us to provide some example, like the career, like just like I have a example in YouTube to show how an accountant to share how they use the mover book or the thinker board, and what the template can help them to organize their a daily plan or the weekly plan, or this is really cool.
Yeah, so you could actually then, what could work is you take these pieces and then you move them into the books, right? The specific books, I don't have them, but you have those samples of your books where you open them up, right? And you're able to see them or put them on the mover pad or the mover book, right? And then this isn't quite the book. It's a bad example. Don't use this, but you can then take these pieces and then put them into your mover book or mover pad as your next priority. So you can then give those to your team to, or those become part of your daily startup. It's like, okay, we're going to be working on method this month, and the next month it's process, and then finally in the 4th month it's a story. And these work out to be like 100-day plan. So maybe that's something to think about. Anyways, it just kind of came to me is we can take these here and put them in the mover books or the mover pads. Anyway, just an idea.
And I think this brainstorming process is especially suitable for some small team, for how they collaborate, or how they work out something. And then every teammate have their daily work, and how they delegate the things, how they work out a plan as a project. Very nice, very nice.
Yeah. So you can order these templates online, and actually before we close, I'm just going to show you too. We can get you'll be able to download the strategy canvas worksheets where you kind of get started with this, and then you also, like I said, we have the templates, the thinkerboard templates, both as a digital download and as a printed product. So you can actually get these printed and they'll get mailed to you as an A3. So we have the 3 of them. We have your flight plan, we have the thinkerboard template, and then this is just to kind of show how everything gets started as well. So it's 3 pieces that will really kind of help your brainstorming or your strategy storming. So
can I can ask a question? And when you first see the mover erase, what do you think this is the because your template is really nice, and I think most people using sticky notes, paper version, there's some sticky note to put that. What do you think the difference between the movie erase and the sticky note when you really using? How's your experiences?
Well, I like the ability that again you can stick around for a while, right? Like it's again something that's very tactile. Like I do have a stack of sticky notes, but you always lose them in the stack. Whereas here I can put the mover erase on the actual metal board. I've got a metal board beside me as well, a little stainless steel board. So you can actually use them quite a lot easier. And again, it's very tactile. It's very useful. It's yeah, it kind of helps with that creativity process. And that's why, again, I really liked the product, because it was like, hey, wait a sec, we're kind of looking how we can do things differently here. And then it was just a matter of how do we actually put that into place for your tool. So no, I'm really glad that we've been able to connect here and kind of see how we can use these tools together.
And one of the main features about this product, especially some soft skill, and then this one actually is like you can press. Do you know that? Do you know that
yeah, it took me a while to figure out, but yeah, no, it's really good.
Yeah, so this is really easy for us to make some lists or some even this one, like so many mover sticking around. So hard to get this one, and then just press it down, and then you can very easy to take it out. So this is how we make this product. We can easily schedule the things. This is the difference between the post-it note or sticky notes and our mover erase version.
Yeah.
No,
absolutely. It's a great idea, and I see this going far. Being able to use the two products together, which is just fascinating. So where can we reach out to you, Alex?
Sorry?
Where can we reach out to you? Your website, your URL?
Yeah, we can have some update to our backer to show your flight plan, your triangles template, and we can share to our community.
That would be fantastic.
I think some people will like that, and then they will really use that in the maybe the startup process for some entrepreneur or some lesson to provide. Recently, we are having some research in the university to see how this product can help ADHD people, and then how this product and template can help the office people to organize things in a very scientific aspect. Because they think just like the Lego is like something, we're creating some process to really use our hand to make something. So the tactile features on the mover erase is important, and they think some scientists in Hong Kong University is really trying to make some process to showing, oh, this is the product to helping people creating something by our hand, not just on a lay flat monitor. Because we use so much digital things, this is really good. But in the technology things, this is really useful. But something that we really want to something happen, or we really want to have something. We create something, especially we create something, use our hand is better than just using our screen, using our mouse to do that. We really need to have.
Maybe that's where I
a chance to work with you to see what opportunity we have, and then we can share with people with they can have a better life.
Excellent. And so they can go to bravestorming.com. Is that the main site if they wanted to pick up this? Or do you have the Kickstarter campaign? You can maybe put it in the chat, and then I can share that later on the live stream. Put the Kickstarter campaign in there. Excellent. Well, and maybe that's what it is taking Lego maybe that's why I enjoyed it so much. Is it's kind of it's tangible, like tactile, like Lego, and you're building something from your brain. And then it was like, hey, wait a sec, we can actually apply this to the strategy storming models as well. So excellent. Thanks so much, Alex. I really appreciate
Thank you very much.
you taking the time to
Thank
join
you
us
so much.
and talk about this as well. So I'm just going to run through a few things. If you got to need to run now, that's cool. If you want to hang around a bit, that's also amazing. But don't feel that you need to. If you want to join us on the live stream as well, or we'll just connect after all. So I'm just going to do a quick little wrap up, and then we'll reset everything. And we've got some new speakers coming up as well. So thanks again, Alex. I appreciate your time and your creativity. So here's to the future as well. Excellent. So Alex Sum just joined us from bravestorming.com, and he showed us all of his different little cool little mover book and mover pad. And he's actually going to be giving away a couple of prizes as well. One of the mover book and one of the mover pad, and then all of the move erasers as well. These little things, these magnetic things, and it's an amazing little creative tool that I've just gotten quite attached to over the years. As well. So we're here to celebrate the grand opening of Strategystorming.co. Basically, I've created a strategy studio and shop that is changing how we rethink, reinvent, and reimagine how we do better business as well. So I've got a bunch of prizes throughout the day. It's a long session. I've been here since 9 a.m. That's actually 4 hours. So it's not too bad. But I'm going to be wrapping up at 10 p.m. my time as well. So there's lots to learn and lots to see. I've got some amazing speakers coming up in the next little while as well. Let's just do a quick little wrap up, and then we'll jump to the next session. Michael, you're up next, I think. So we'll be good and ready to go. So we've got Michael Hanran coming up in the next couple of minutes as soon as I'm done and reset everything. So we'll be talking with him from Publish Central. He's a book publishing organization out of Melbourne, Australia. After that, we have Epi Ludwig, who's going to be joining us from Europe, talking about innovation and the Bold Awards and a whole bunch of cool stuff there. And then this afternoon, later on today, actually, Jeff, thanks for jumping back in. Really appreciate it. On the next hour, we have, after Epi, is Jeff Hetherington coming to us from the central coast of New South Wales. And then Olga Andrienko from SEMrush out of Europe as well. So those what we have on the take coming up really soon. And as you can see, there's a lot more content, a lot more amazing speakers. And one of Andrew Griffith's statements that he said while he was here previously was that if you look at your calendar and you smile, then you're doing the right thing. And I'm looking at this calendar of all these brilliant people, and it makes me smile that we can actually all connect together simultaneously, consecutively around the world. And we all have, great things to listen to and to hear and to talk about as well. So that absolutely makes me smile as well. So if you go to strategystorming.co, I'll quickly wrap up. There's a bunch of prizes to be won, and we'll get to those shortly. You can win a pair of 3D glasses just for fun, right? We all need more 3D glasses to help us see through. What should we see through? See through the BS of marketing and business and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's it. There are 3D BS glasses. I'll come up with something yet, but just for fun, everybody who registers will get an actual, I'll mail you a pair of these. Okay. So don't worry. We also have a draw winner, an hourly draw winner of my book, Breakthrough, Unleash Your Remarkable Brand Value, Influence, and Authority, which I'll be giving away for every hour as well. We also have the Easy Strategy Lab Coat, just for fun, right? It's strategy storming activewear for the creative strategist. So strategy has never looked nor felt easier. You can win your own strategy lab coat at strategystorming.co. When you went to chemistry class, you kind of knew that when you put on your lab coats, you knew you had a job to do. And that's what we're here to tell you with strategystorming.co, is to say, hey, guess what? We know we've got a job to do. Let's get down to business as well. So that's on offer coming up. A bunch of workshops. I'll point out the neuromarketing advantage of strategy. One of the things that I've set up is what I call the strategic dynamics of strategy, and discover your style of strategic thinking. So if you want to find out what are the 9 strategic thinking styles you are, give that a go, and it'll give you a response in terms of what style you are, what kind of thinking, and how you can actually solve problems a little bit differently as well. So head on over there, use the QR code, scan your camera on that code, and it'll take you right to the assessment as well. What else we got here? The lab coat, yes, the workshop's coming up. Grand opening studio and shop sale. So throughout today and the weekend as well, it expires the 31st of October at 11:59. That would be Australian Western Standard Time. 20% off all products in shop. Scan the code there and it'll take you right to the store as well. And the strategy survey. This is one of the important things as well. And obviously, what we want to do is be able to paint a better picture of everything that's around this. And I've run this usually every year, and typically I summarize it at the end of the year. And I'm going to be summarizing it at the Strategystorming Planning Festival, the Strategy Academy, coming up in November, coming up really, really soon. And I need your insight. I really would love your ideas and thoughts and ideas in terms of what's important and how are we doing it and that sort of thing. So if you'd love to participate, I'd love to get your feedback. Please just point your camera there. Strategy survey, bit.ly/strategy survey 2022, or point your camera there. And finally, everybody who comes into the show and watches and live stream, you can actually win a strategy canvas worksheet as well. And it's a 12-page workbook that takes you through this process of how to actually build these models and why, and the thinking behind it as well. So you've got something at the end of the day to be able to do that. So it's free. It's a digital version only, right? There is also a paper copy, but the digital version is free. So just go to strategystorming.co and enter that code when you find the product, or just scan that QR code and you'll get to it as well. So, all right. So let's get back to our next amazing speaker. And I'm just going to, Michael Hanran, and we're just going to reset everything, and then we'll restart the session coming up. So thanks for joining us, Michael. I'm just going to stop recording and stop live stream, and then